Hello, this is the story of Loaves and Fishes by Joyce Davidson. Alice had a picture book with Bible stories in it. She looked at it whenever she had an extra minute. One day as Alice picnicked beneath a clump of trees, she read a Bible story from the book upon her knees. About some barley loaves and fishes was the story Alice read when the airmail bird dropped her a note, and this is what it said. Reading is the magic key to take you where you want to be. The book that Alice held became a giant screen. She walked through to Bibleland and came upon this scene. She saw Jesus and his disciples on the Sea of Galilee, looking for a spot to stop and rest beside the sea. They wanted to have quiet and be all alone that day, but the followers of Jesus wouldn't let him get away. They followed Jesus by the shore. More people joined in too. They came from everywhere around. The crowd just grew and grew. Old men came and young men came and women came as well. Even children came to hear what Jesus had to tell. People who were sick came, and the lame and blind came too, hoping Jesus' healing touch would make them good as new. Listening to his teachings was such a special treat that almost everyone forgot to take some food to eat. But one small boy remembered he'd packed a tasty dish of 5 small loaves of barley bread along with 2 small fish. Jesus kept on sailing on the Sea of Galilee, while the crowds kept growing bigger on the shore along the sea. Finally, Jesus found the place that he'd been looking for, but he was not alone at all, for great crowds lined the shore. 5,000 people came that day to listen to him talk, and many came for healing, for they could barely walk. So Jesus stayed there with the crowd he loved so very much and healed the sick, the lame, the blind with his special healing touch. Then as he talked about God's love, the sun began to set, and Jesus realized no one there had eaten supper yet. He turned to his disciples and asked them to buy bread, for his followers were hungry and needed to be fed. "We haven't enough money to feed the crowd today," one disciple said to Jesus, "so send them on their way." The young boy who had brought some food came forth and bravely said, "I have some food, 2 little fish and 5 small loaves of bread." Jesus had the crowd sit down and said a loving prayer to thank God for the bread and fish the boy gave him to share. Then Jesus broke the barley bread. He broke the fish up too. The more he broke, the more the food just grew and grew and grew. As Jesus broke the bread and fish, his disciples passed it out. The crowd saw quite a miracle. Of this there was no doubt. For 2 small fish and 5 small loaves of bread were passed along and made a filling supper for a crowd 5,000 strong. Not only was there food enough for each and every one, 12 baskets filled with food were left when everyone was done. And all who saw the miracle that Jesus worked that day agreed God's promised Savior had at last come their way. The time had come for Alice to leave the Bible scene. She came back home by walking through her very special screen. Alice went back to her house and put her book away and thought, "I learned so very much in Bibleland today. I saw Jesus healing those who hurt and teaching folks God's way and watching a boy who'd listened well and shared all he had that day. His meal was small, the crowd was big, but he was glad to give all he had to Jesus, who taught him how to live. I found out too the miracle that Jesus did that day showed he was the promised one whom God had sent our way. And finally, I learned to put my trust in God above, for he provides for everyone and shares his endless love." Go out today and share something you have with someone else. And don't forget, miracles really do happen. Have a great day.